Hi, everyone. I'm Nigel Bennett. I'm co-founder of Aqua Guard Spill Response. What I'm going to do today is introduce you to our company, a little bit on where we came from and our product lines and our services and our global reach. And yes, I'm going to do that through a PowerPoint presentation and be able to send it to everybody so you can view it at your own leisure. So just bear with me for 1 second here as I am going to open up the presentation. So thank you again for taking the time to listen to this presentation. Our company, again, it's Aqua Guard Spill Response. Our mission is to protect the world's most precious resource, which is water. AquaGuard was established in 1992 by myself and two other partners. Since that time, we have been extremely successful and very fortunate to be able to have a business and expand our business into 104 countries around the world with over 3,000 clients. Our organizational structure currently is it's myself as a shareholder, and I have another partner, Cameron Jans, who is our CEO. And together with our team, here's our key our members of our team here on this organizational chart. You can review it at your own leisure, but I'm just going to click through it right now. It just gives you an idea of our corporate entity and our manufacturing abilities. So everything that we do is manufactured in Canada. We are based in Vancouver, Canada, on the West Coast. We have our head office is in North Vancouver, and we have other facilities around Vancouver and another larger facility in Coquitlam, just outside of Vancouver, where we manufacture some of our larger offshore machines. We also have patents, and we're ISO certified company, and we have certification from DMV to ASTM standards, basically stating that what we say our equipment does is actually certified to do what we say it does. Also, over the years, we've had various awards and nominations, and in many parts of the world. In 2016, 2017, and 2018, and up to today, we were voted best spill response equipped OSR oil spill response vessel offshore Brazil with our partners there called Asgard Navigação. Out of about 48 different companies that are operating offshore Brazil, we were consistently rated #1 with our large offshore equipment on board the Asgard vessels. So yeah, we've had various different types of innovation awards, ranging from technology, technology that we've developed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start with what do we do best? What does AquaGuard do better than anybody else on the planet? And what that is our skimming technology. And what that it's called our RBS TRITON skimming technology, oil skimming technology. So we have various patents for this technology. We have a Canadian and we have an American patent. And this technology is able to recover 300%, so 3 times more than our original oil skimming systems, which were RBS. So the RBS Triton systems are our patented systems that are able to recover 300 times more with exactly the same recovery efficiency, 98 to 99% oil. So very little water. As you can see here, here's one of our larger systems. It's operating in an oil spill in Cuba. And with this machine, we're able to have a rotating brush, which rotates through the surface of the water and the oil. The oil sticks to the brush because the brush is oleophilic, sticks to the brush, and it actually repels the water, so it's hydrophobic. And so we're picking up 98% oil, and it's scraped off put into our system and pumped away into storage. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the different types of oil skimming systems that we manufacture. So our small machines are for calm, protected inshore waters, and there are smaller machines. As you can see here in the photograph, the two at the front, the RBS Triton 10 and the RBS Triton 20, are our two smallest machines. They're also our newest machines. The RBS Triton 35 and the RBS Triton 60 are slightly larger, but they're also used for inshore. The RBS Triton 10 and the RBS Triton 20 were specifically designed for the Canadian Coast Guard. Aqua Guard, we just revamped all of the Canadian oil spill response bases across and around Canada, and there's about 90 bases where we replaced all of their oil skimming systems with RBS 10s, RBS Triton 20s, and RBS Triton 60 machines in many, many different locations around Canada. So, our RBS Triton 10. So, why do we call this an RBS Triton 10? The RBS Triton 10 correlates to the recovery rate of oil. So, this machine is 10, it's more close to 11, but we call it an RBS Triton 10. It's a RBS Triton 10 oil skimming system. It's small, it's compact, it's able to be carried by one person and deployed. And the Coast Guard wanted us to have it in a nice compact package. So we have a container where we have the skimmer head system here and a power unit and a pump system that all go inside the container with the hoses. And this can be helicoptered into a remote site. It can be put on a truck or put on a small aircraft, or just there's forklift pockets so you can lift it and put it on the dock or wherever you wish. But again, this is our RBS Triton 10, our smallest machine. It can be also dropped down inside a barge, inside the hold, and to pump out barges if required. Now we have the RBS Triton 20. Again, why is it called the 20? Because 20 cubic meters an hour of oil it is able to recover at 98% efficiency. So very, very little water. This machine also, if wanted by the client, comes in a sealed aluminum container. And there's a skimmer head here. And the skimmer head has a brush system for heavier oil, has a drum system for lighter oil with some debris, and a disc system for light oil with lower amounts of debris. Higher capacity is able to be recovered by the disc, a little bit less by the drum, and high capacity with the brush. The power unit is here also. It goes in, and this is the pump system, which also goes in with a contained hose system and float system. So the complete package is here, ready for instant deployment. Again, RBS Triton 20, 20 cubic meters an hour recovery. Here's a shot a little bit closer up of the disc system, the drum system, and the brush system. Also, there's a fuzzy disc adapter that could go in here as well, which is able to pick up very light diesel fuels and things like that if required. An aerial shot here. Thought this was a nice shot to show you of some of the systems going to the Canadian Coast Guard. All the skimmer heads are lined up. A couple of the containers, the pumps, and the power units all together. So to get an idea of the size, so the RBS Triton 10, as you can see here on the left side, it's a small machine, could be picked up by one person. The RBS Triton 20 is also a smaller machine. It can also be lifted by one person. So that gives you a bit of an idea, a bit of the scale. The RBS Triton 10s and 20s and 35 and our 60s can also be used in a current buster type situation. This is being used for a demonstration with some foam by the Canadian Coast Guard. Mhm. And now we go to our RBS Triton 35 system. 35 cubic meters an hour. Actually, can pick up about 38, but we call it a 35. That's This system is used all over the world. Many oil spill response contractors. This system here is a little bit heavier. It's about 49 kilos, the skimmer head, about 108 pounds. So it's a little bit more difficult to carry with one person. So what we've done is we supply, if required, some stretcher pulls that go in to the handles. They slide right down and they clip with a clip, and you can have two people lift this machine and carry it into place. You can also use these carry poles for lifting the pump system and the power pack system and the hose system, if so desired. As you can see here, in our C machine here, this is the RBS Triton 35 without the stretcher poles. These are the stretcher poles here that have gone into one of the power units to help transport and move the power unit around, but could also be used on for carrying the skimmer head. Now we have the RBS Triton 60 cubic meters an hour. Also can be carried by two people. Again, these stretcher poles can be used here. As you can see, this is in Brazil. Our clients are using this for an API separator to recover oil in a separator. So 63 cubic meters an hour. The skimmer head weight is about 64 kilos, a little bit heavier, and 140 pounds. Again, all of these skimming systems can be used with a brush, a drum, or a disc system, all easily interchanged without any tools and extremely quick. So if you are working in heavy oil and then you've recovered a lot of the heavy oil and it gets down to a thinner oil, or even sheens, you're able to take the brush out and put in a drum or a disc. Aqua Guard has now developed a sheen recovery drum system that is able to recover sheens. So now you're able to put this carbon. It's a carbon-based drum inside our system and recover sheens. Again, all our systems are air transportable. If the client desires, we can supply a storage container, which can be heli lifted or put into a small plane, and again onto a truck. So they all come as a complete package, very easily transportable. If our client desires a trailer system, we build trailer systems to put together the complete package. So on this trailer system, as you see, this is for a RBS Triton 35 skimmer head. So we have the skimmer head here. We have a pump system. We have a power unit, hose reels, some storage boxes to store some containment boom, also some absorbent material, and a little davit crane for lowering into the skimmer head into the water, the skimmer head and hose system into the water. It can be coupled to a containment barrier system, as you can see here in this river. This, I believe, is in South America, where they're using it for training. So they were able to have the whole system here on the bridge, and they're able to lower the skimmer head in underneath and couple it up to a boom system, creating a funnel and able to recover the oil and pump it back up into your tankage and storage here. It's a trailer system. So now we go from the smaller systems up to an RBS Triton 150. So this is 150 cubic meters an hour of oil recovery. These skimmer heads are quite heavy and quite a lot larger than our smaller systems. So the weight of this is approximately 365 kilos, about 804 pounds. These systems have an internal pump. We use internal low pumps, which are able to recover or be able to draw in extremely heavy viscous oil and pump and push that that oil through a hose system to your tankage. This system here was used. This is in Venezuela. There was a spill in Venezuela several years ago where this is Francisco Jimenez. He's our regional manager for Latin America. He and our team, and I believe our CEO, Cameron Jans, and some others were down in Venezuela where the Catatumbo River flowed close to the Colombian border, and the FARC guerrillas had blown up the pipeline. So our teams were there with many of our machines with our local partners, and we were able to deploy the machines and recover the oil, while the militia um, was able to keep the FARC guerrillas back in the jungle, and able to protect our people that were working there. So this was an ongoing, this went on for months and months and months, recovering extremely heavy oil in extremely difficult conditions on the border between Venezuela and Colombia. As you can see here, the RBS Triton 150 machine also comes with a trailer system. So we call it a 150T. T is for trailer. And so this system here, similar to the smaller system trailer, we're able to have the skimmer head on the trailer. We have a crane, a hydraulic crane, and our power unit, and a hose reel system, and a storage box for absorbents or tanks or whatever else you may need to respond to a spill. This system here is again, a 150 trailer system supplied for the Western Canada Marine Response Corps here on the west coast of Canada. They have several of these trailers placed around our province on the coastline to be ready in the event of a spill. Again, skimmer head, internal low pump, very um, uh, a good pump for recovering heavy viscous oils at a high pressure. And you have the crane, power unit, and hose reel system, and storage box for various items. Other types of trailers, we have boom reels, trailers. This is in the Middle East, in the UAE, where our partners there have had trailers for many years, and they use them consistently for on standby and for responding to oil spills. So now I'm going to go to our open water solutions. So this is offshore. This is equipment that we use and have the ability to use offshore. So we have our 150 RBS Triton 150 machine again, but this is an OS offshore system. This system is a little bit different than the 150, as the skimmer head is the same size. The brush is the same size. Again, it's interchangeable, a brush and a drum and a disc, but we have propellers on each side, thrusters. So you're able to have a remote control, and you're able to drive the system into your apex of your oil booms and recover oil off the side of a ship or a dock or a pier. The unique piece to this is our newly patent pending floating hose system here. So this hose here is neutrally buoyant, and we run hydraulic lines through it. So we're able to run our skimming system and our onboard low pump system. And also there's a discharge hose inside here. So we're able to pump back through, back into the ship. So we're able to pump back through, back into the ship storage. This is on the west. This ship is here with WCMRC here in Vancouver on the west coast of Canada, recently supplied. So that was our 150 machine. Now we go to our 300 machine. This machine is quite a lot larger, but we call it a URO, a URO machine. It's able to recover 300 cubic meters of oil an hour. It's two 150 brushes are in this system with a large low pump inside the system. We build a crane system which is able to extend out 6 meters over the side of a ship or a barge. And again, a floating hose system, which you're able to lower into the water, up to 90 meters of hose, which is a lot of hose. Not really necessary, but some of our customers wish 90 meters of hose, so we supply 90 meters of hose. What it is it's two 6-inch hoses inside one wrap, and hydraulic lines flow through, or flow through one of these hoses, and the other hose is the discharge hose, and internal pump on board the skimmer head, which pumps back through the system and into your tankage. We also build our skimming systems, our big offshore oil skimming systems, to zone 1, so explosion proof if for hazardous areas as well. We're all certified with that by DNV. And now we go to our URO 600. This is our biggest machine that we manufacture. It's 600 cubic meters an hour oil recovery, 4 brushes around the outside of the system. Again, floating hose, up to 90 meters of floating hose. And I'll show you a video. This is a URO 300 system, actually. This is offshore Japan with the PAJ, Petroleum Association of Japan. As you can see, the crane is lowering the system into place. The skimming system is being engaged. The propellers are being engaged. The system now, it's autonomous, so it can drive into the apex of an oil boom where your concentration of oil would be, and you're able to run. This has 2 large low pumps on board. Actually, this has one. This is a 300 machine. Oh, this shows it offshore, so how it can address itself in heavier seas, and is able to pick up this unit again as a 300, so 300 cubic meters an hour, able to pump back through that floating hose system, back through the reel system, and into your ship's tankage. This gives you a little bit better of an idea of the hose deployment. So here's the crane. We're able to fully extend out 6 meters, drop the hose all the way out, and here's the skimmer head. It's able to pull out the hose with the thrusters and recover the oil, and then you're able to lift and carry the system back up to the crane via the hose. The hose has an extremely high tensile strength for this. And this is the vessel that we won the Best Oil Spill Response Equipped Vessel, OSRV, offshore Brazil for 3 years in a row with Asgard Navigação. This is in Rio de Janeiro, this photograph. Here's another system that we had aboard the Mar Limpo. So this was the very first vessel of its type to be built in Brazil for oil spill response, which was a first. So other offshore installations all over the world, from Egypt to Venezuela to Korea, Japan, Brazil, many, many, many places around the world. We have our large offshore systems mounted on offshore supply vessels. If the vessel is required, or if it's possible, we can plumb our hydraulic system for powering our skimming system directly to the vessel. So then you don't require a diesel hydraulic power unit. The beauty of having a standalone diesel hydraulic power unit is that you can then take this unit and pick it up and drop it on any vessel at any time. So it can be actually on the dock and in storage in your storage warehouse, and it can be dropped on a vessel of opportunity, where this unit here, it's plumbed directly into the ship, and we're saving cost, but it's also it's stuck with that ship at that time, and uses the hydraulic power from the ship. So It's kind of a win-win in this situation. Refineries. So we also do quite a lot of work in refineries around the world. We work in API separators or oil water separation ponds to help the refinery recover the surface oil, heavy surface oil. So our RBS Triton skimmers, this model here is called the RBS Triton 100, so 100 cubic meters an hour, all built in stainless steel because of the corrosiveness in the environment in a refinery. Also, air operated diaphragm pumps. Most refineries use air for safety, and so we're able to plumb into the air system and we provide the pumping system to recover the oil here. These two skimming systems here, as you can see, they have stainless steel discs, again, because of the corrosive nature of the refinery. It's a little bit better shot of some RBS Triton 100s in stainless steel here, as you can see. This one here actually has a pump on board, a diaphragm pump, stainless steel diaphragm pump, air driven. This one here has a disc, and this one has a brush system for heavier oil. Continuous use. We've had these machines run in refineries here in Vancouver, in Saudi Arabia, and many parts around the world, continuously for year after year after year. Some of the other types of equipment that we manufacture are weir skimmers. Now, weir skimmers aren't as efficient as our RBS Triton oleophilic skimmer, but they are they're cheaper, but you do pick up a lot more water. So we use them as a last resort, but we do manufacture and provide these. As you can see, this is a little weir system. It can be used with a single pump or used with a vacuum truck to recover oil on the surface of the water. These ones have floating bellows or floating weirs. So we have an Aqua Weir 30 all the way up to 250, actually to a 250 machine. Here you can see this too. This one has thrusters on it, has a floating hose system. This is offshore Brazil. And then this one is a large system. It's a Aqua Weir 250, so 250 cubic meters an hour. Great looking machine, but again, they aren't anywhere as efficient as our RBS Triton skimming technology, where we're getting 98 to 99% oil with our RBS Tritons. With the Aqua Weirs, we'll be lucky to get 70, 75% oil if it's extremely thick oil. So it is something that is our clients do consider, but ultimately what they do is they buy this, and then they also, after they realize they really need something more efficient, and then they'll buy a RBS Triton 150 or a 300 head to complement it as well, to get the higher efficiencies. Now, heavy oil, um, when we run into ultra heavy oil situations, so this could be offshore, this could be in a recovery pond or recovery pit. In northern Canada here, we have pits that are full of very heavy viscous oil. So what we use there is we call it a Roto X ultra heavy oil skimming system. So again, this is mounted in our 150 or RBS Triton 150 machine, and we have a macerator on the front of the machine, as you can see here. This is in Venezuela, where we're using the system to recover oil out of some pits. These pits have been sitting there for many years, where oil is dumped, like the old oil is dumped, the waste oil is dumped, and it's solidified on the surface. Big problem. You can't pump it. It's extremely difficult. So what we've done is we provided a macerator on the front end of our RBS Triton 150, and it's able to chew up the oil rafts that are floating in these ponds. As you can see this here, this is also in Venezuela, and there'll be a video here showing the system. So here's the macerator, as you can see in the drawing. There's the macerator on mounted in the skimming system here. And now we're lowering it into a pit. And now we're able to macerate and chew up that extremely heavy oil mats on the front, and it blends it. And we're able to use the brush system. It pushes it into our low pump, which is able to recover extremely heavy, viscous oil. And it basically turns it into a liquid again, and it's able to pump it. And this shot here shows it's a closed circuit. So we show you how it actually is able to turn it back into a liquid, and we're able to pump this stuff out of the pits, which is an extremely difficult thing, and it helps so many clients with this problem around the globe, because how do you do it? It's a very difficult process, but we have the solution here, and it works extremely well. Oil and ice. So the same machine, our RotoX 150 machine with the macerator, we were hired by the U.S. Coast Guard to build a machine and have it for testing in the high Arctic with broken ice. Um, so as you can see here, the machine has our macerator on the front. It's able to chew up ice, and it also has thrusters on the side. So you can see it's driven. And the US Coast Guard, what they wanted to test was the maneuverability of our RotoX system maneuvering in broken ice. And as you can see here, it maneuvers very nicely. The report was extremely well received by the US Coast Guard. And the macerator on the front is able to break up some of the ice and push it through the machine, and the brush is there to recover the oil and pump it back into your tankage on your vessel. So as you can see here, it's moving quite nicely through the ice. So in the high Arctic, or off in Antarctica, off Chile and Argentina, this would be a really nice machine to be able to use or have on standby in the event of a spill in ice. You can see it here. It's pushing, so it can push some of the icebergs away, and it can works through the broken ice. It actually it's quite strong as it pulls itself up on top of the ice sometimes. But yeah, it's a great adaptation for using our RBS Triton 150 in ice. You can see the size of it. It's a fairly large machine. There's two of our team here. Beside it, the macerator you can see at the front of the machine here in orange. And yeah, so that's our RBS Triton 150 with a Roto X on the front of it, the macerator. So now what we do is we're going to go to containment and storage. So Aqua Guard, we've designed and manufactured oil spill containment booms for 30, 35 years, many years. One of our extremely popular brands is called HarborFlex. So this is a permanent oil boom system that can be used off a jetty, wharf, to protect that area. So we have slide guide systems for tide. The tide goes up and down. We have the slide guide systems. These are used typically when a vessel comes in and out. The boom is placed around it to protect it, and it works. It works up and down. It's left in the water for years, up to 15 years. And yeah, here's a really nice shot of this is in Dubai. This is the Burj Al Khalifa. Was the highest, or it probably still is, the highest building in the world. This was a pond. It was a bird sanctuary that the emir wanted to protect. So we had this same boom in for 15 years. And then they asked us to replace it after 15 years. And we just replaced it a couple of years ago with some new booms, several thousand meters of this to protect this bird sanctuary. Again, this is a permanent boom. It stays in the water, or its ability to stay in the water all the time. Now we go to our Airflex. This is our heavy duty offshore boom. This is our neoprene based offshore boom. It's inflatable. It can be stored on a reel. You can store several hundred meters on a reel, and it's deployed and it's inflated. It can also be used as a permanent boom around terminals. but it's a very useful, heavy duty oil spill containment barrier. These are stored on our reel systems in containers. It could be shipped anywhere in the world. It could be stored in these containers on standby. In the event of a spill, it can be deployed and inflated in minutes. Now we go to our smaller type containment barriers, our light flex, our inshore boom. This is used in inshore, in calm waters. It's small. You know, it could be from 8 inches to 42 inches high, but the small stuff is around 8 to 12 inches. It can also be stored on one of our storage reels and held there just in case on standby in the event of an oil spill at a terminal. Now we had talk about floating oil storage tanks. We have an agreement in several countries now with a partner company that provide us with they build for us floating storage tanks. So these floating storage tanks can have the volume of from 5 to 250 cubic meters of storage capacity, which is a lot of storage. Um, but we most likely go from about 5 to 100 cubic meters an hour. This is and serial or extra storage. Excuse me, I can't even speak. Um, extra storage. So when your barge is full, you can use a floating storage tank, fill it up with the oil that you've covered from our RBS TRITON skimming systems, and then take that tank and ship that back to shore and then bring it back out. And so you don't have to break up your recovery efforts by sending your barge back to the shore to be pumped. You can just send the tank back with a vessel. And now we have flexible storage tanks, some smaller tanks with open tops, which we provide these for storage of water, contaminated water, or hydrocarbons. Again, can be used on shore, on dock, or on a vessel to store your recovered oil. Frame tanks. We have various types of frame tanks, quick, easy to put together. Other technologies that we've developed over the years. We have vacuum systems. So this vacuum system you could use for beach cleanup, or you could use it for downhole recovery, sump recovery if you have oil in your sump. A very versatile machine, as you can see here. But they're the vacuum system, 250 vacuum system. And then pumping systems. We have various types of pumping systems. We have centrifugal screw pumps, high volume. We have the low pump systems, which we're able to recover heavy viscous oils at high pressure. So low pump, this is a centrifugal screw pump. We also build all the power units for powering all of our pump systems and our skimming systems. All again, this is all the power systems are manufactured in Canada. Various types of pumps, power units, pumps, hydraulic systems. This would be a hydraulic system that we would use if we're using the ship's hydraulic power. We would plumb this directly into the ship's hydraulic power, and then we would be able to power our machines with this. Here's a system over here where we have a power unit with a crane as well. So many types of power systems, anywhere from diesel hydraulic, electric hydraulic, pneumatic, explosion-proof electrical. Again, this is explosion-proof electrical. So this system here, an explosion-proof electrical, we were powering many of our skimming machines inside a refinery. So it's all explosion-proof, certified, and it runs, again, continuous power to our skimming systems. So Aqua Guard, I mentioned, we've been operating since 1992. We're involved in over 104, 105 countries around the world. Pretty much anybody that has a coastline that is moving oil, we've probably worked in that country. So as you can see here, from Canada to, Fort Lauderdale. This is with OSRL, which is to be Clean Caribbean, down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Canada, Brunei, all over. Like Maracaibo in Brazil, um, the the uh, the BP Horizon oil spill down in the Gulf of Mexico in 2010. We shipped over 100 machines, small, medium, large machines down to the Gulf, down to Louisiana, where they were um, uh, trained. People were trained, crews were trained, and they were shipped offshore and used to help recover the massive spill that happened then. Also, the Costa Concordia, we upgraded all of the oil spill response capabilities in Italy several years ago. So we replaced a lot of their skimming systems. And right after we did that, the Costa Concordia accident happened. Remember the cruise ship that flipped on its side off Italy? And our local partners, Veterinary, they had our equipment and they were on standby in the event of an oil spill. And thank goodness there was no oil spill from this ship, but our equipment was there on standby for this as well. We do training. So also we have IMO level 1, 2, and 3 training that we're able to do anywhere in the world. We've been doing this for many, many years, and either you could send your team to Canada and we could train them, or we would come to your location and train as well. And we also do cooperative training with various other organizations like OSRL in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We've, for many, many years, we've provided them with equipment and they've trained their teams on our RBS TRITON oil skimming systems for their groups throughout the Caribbean. With the Canadian Coast Guard, with our contracts with the Canadian Coast Guard, replacing all of their oil skimming systems over the past several years. There's also been a training component, so hands-on training for the Coast Guard staff, online training, many different types of training. And also the Petroleum Association in Japan. They have some of our smaller skimmers, but also some of our one of our large offshore oil skimming systems. Um, and yeah, so offshore Japan, Petroleum de Venezuela, Petrobras in Brazil, a key client of ours for many years. KNPC and KPC in Kuwait. All over from Djibouti to Fujairah, many locations around the globe. So thank you so much for listening today. This Aqua Guard's mission, I said again, is our mission is to protect the world's most precious resource, which is water. And it's been an honor to be in this business. I started in this business when I was 16 years old, and I worked for an environmental mapping company for many years, for 10 years, which is my father's company, which took me to, 15 different countries. I lived in many countries and put together oil spill response plans and surveyed the coastlines. But then our clients needed equipment. So therefore, myself and some other people, we broke away and we formed Aqua Guard Spill Response in 1992 to help provide our customer base with um, with the equipment and expertise that they needed to be on standby and respond if necessary to an oil spill anywhere in the planet. So it's been an honor and it's been a pleasure to work in this industry for so many years. And yeah, thanks so much for listening today. And we really appreciate it. Any questions? Just send them to our email address below or click the links below to our website or our link tree. Our link tree link below has all of our social media. So follow us on all our social media. And any questions, send them this way. Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate it.